Hello, my name is Prior Chad, and I'm the vicar at St. Augustine's Episcopal Parish in Tempe, Arizona. The following sermon was delivered on the second Sunday of Advent, December 6th, 2015. And to help you understand a little bit of what you're looking at, why it's a bit darker than usual, we celebrated the Holy Eucharist on this second Sunday of Advent in the spirit of Taizé. And so the sermon reflects upon the similarities between Brother Roger, the founder of the Taizé community, and St. John the Baptist, whom our gospel highlights this week. I hope that you find the sermon informative and enriching, and if you haven't had a chance to expose yourself to the community of Taizé in France, its music and its wonderful ministry in our world, I encourage you to do so. Blessings upon you.
Let no evil talk come out of my mouth, but only what is useful for building up as there is need, so that my words may give grace to those who hear. In the name of the Holy and undivided Trinity. The story of the ecumenical monastic community established in the small village of Taizé in the south of France is a remarkable one. As I've looked into this story again during the course of this last week, I have come to notice that the figure of Brother Roger Schultz, the community's founder, bears considerable resemblance to the figure of St. John the Baptist, whose role as a harbinger of Christ the Church remembers on this second Sunday of Advent. In the Gospels, we hear that St. John took up an unusual lifestyle and went out into the wilderness, into all the region around the Jordan, proclaiming a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins. These words, and the way the Gospels set them up, are full of symbolic importance. The wilderness is the place where God speaks, outside the centers of human power and influence. The Jordan is the threshold to the land of the covenant, where the children of Sarah and Abraham live as God's people in the territory God has promised and provided. The concepts of sin, repentance, and forgiveness all relate to the ways in which the people have forsaken their identity as children of the covenant. And baptism is the means by which people are restored to and reconciled with their covenantal identity. John's proclamation, then, was a call to come out from the promised land, to be cleansed and reinitiated in the waters of the Jordan, and to enter the land again with a renewed identity as people of the covenant. In 1940, Brother Roger moved from his native Switzerland to the small village of Taizé with the intention of founding a monastic community, a rather unusual undertaking for someone in the Swiss Reformed tradition. He envisioned an ecumenical community that modeled reconciliation among Christians in its daily life. And throughout the 1940s and 50s, the community, which started with just 4 members, grew and began attracting thousands of young pilgrims from various denominations all over post-war Europe. The Brothers of Taizé welcomed people into an experience of the Christian faith that was profoundly simple, kind, loving, and practical. Every effort was made to remove doctrinal and theological barriers to reconciliation, and their prayers gradually took on the form of multilinguistic sung refrains, punctuated by periods of silent contemplation. Like St. John the Baptist at the Jordan River, Brother Roger and the community attracted people from all walks of life to come out into the wilderness, to rural Taizé, from their cities and from their various cultural and national locations. Through encounter with God and with other diverse pilgrims. Taizé called Christians back to their own covenantal identity, derived from their one baptism. An especially poignant message in the wake of the Second World War, when it was painfully obvious that Christian Europe was anything but reconciled and unified. Neither John the Baptist nor Brother Roger took up their missionary vocations in times of peace and calm. Both faced political conditions that threatened to tear the fabric of their cultures, and both saw their message of reconciliation as a solution to these existential threats. The call back to covenantal identity, to having our lives restored to right relationship with God and neighbor, and our minds renewed through the experience of that relationship, is not some pie-in-the-sky escapist ideology. It's not a call to pretend that everything is fine, or to hole up in prayer while the world rages around us. In fact, one of the first actions Brother Roger and his companions took after moving to Taizé in 1940 was to begin hiding Jewish and other refugees escaping Nazi persecution. Rather, to come back to our covenantal identity is to relativize all other identities and to stand in critical opposition to the destructive aspects of our familial, tribal, political, denominational, and national senses of self. We learn the differences between these identities, and we learn to live as covenantal children of God through ongoing experiences of what Brother Roger called kindness of heart, where love is at the heart of all things. The Taizé community demonstrates to the world that our prayers acclimate us to the culture of God's household and strengthen us to respond to the real needs of the world. In this Advent season, we can learn from Brother Roger and from the brothers of Taizé that it is through prayer that we prepare the way for the coming one within ourselves. We prepare the way by welcoming the sound of sheer silence that settles upon us as we gather as a congregation. It is in the silence where God's presence abides to bring low the mountains of our pride and arrogance, and to raise up the valleys of our fears and insecurities. In silence, we allow God to make a level path for Christ to dwell within and through us. In silence, we acclimate to the indwelling presence of Christ and learn to let that presence shine forth from our lives, such that all flesh shall see the salvation of God. In silence, we learn to mistrust violence, because God's salvation does not come to us by means of force, by chariots or arrows, by tanks or concealed weapons. God's salvation rises up from the inside, from within our capacity to walk in true love and kindness, as we have been loved by God and called into covenant. Let us then listen with open hearts to the voices crying out in the wilderness, calling us back to our covenantal identity, an identity that heals and restores our truest sense of self. And let us follow the example of Brother Roger and the Taizé community into the sound of sheer silence to prepare the way for Christ, so that all flesh may see a living example of God's reconciling salvation, where love is at the heart